God, Country, Notre Dame. Not just a lofty motto etched in stone at the Basilica, a Notre Dame tradition of military service that runs deep. From Father Corby's chaplain duties in the Civil War, to the Navy taking over the campus in World War II for officers' training, many sons and daughters of Notre Dame have and continue to serve around the globe.
When they mentioned that there were going to be a flyover, when it happened, we noticed that it was the exact same plane that Reid piloted.
Air Force Captain Reid Nishizuka, class of 2005, always wanted to be a pilot. After Notre Dame and flight school, he was deployed throughout the Middle East in the war against terror. In his first mission in Afghanistan, flying a low-level reconnaissance and air support mission for troops in combat on the ground, his plane crashed in the Hindu Kush Mountains, April 27, 2013, killing Reid and his 3 crew members. His brother, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Chad Nishizuka, joins his classmates from the Hawaii Club of Notre Dame in honoring Captain Reid Nishizuka this Memorial Day. I'm correspondent and former Marine Captain Mike Cerre, class of 69, for this edition of God, Country, Notre Dame. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Chad Nishizuka, thank you for joining us for this Notre Dame memorial tribute to your brother, Captain Reid Nishizuka, class of 2005. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mike. Glad to be here.
So you were a little brother to Reid. Tell me, what was he like as a big brother?
Oh, Reid was great. Of course, growing up, we always had our fights as all siblings too. But once we were adults and he went away to college, he was fantastic. He always took care of us, always looked after my parents, and he was definitely my number one mentor.
How influential was he for you joining the Air Force yourself, following him?
So if it wasn't for him, I honestly probably wouldn't be in the Air Force today. From JROTC to convincing me to go to ROTC in college and joining the Air Force, it was all because of him. And he also was the one that motivated me to become an aviator as well.
What was his motivation, do you think? What was his primary motivation for joining junior ROTC and then going on to ROTC at Notre Dame?
So Reid was always a lover of aviation, even as a very young kid. He loved spaceships, he loved aircraft, he loved watching airplanes fly. And so when the opportunity to join the military was available, he kind of used that as a way to get into aviation.
What was the motivation for going to Notre Dame?
So Reid was always wanting to be part of a prestigious organization, and Notre Dame is definitely one of those top organizations. In addition to that, my father also had a love of Notre Dame, and I think that influenced some of his decision as well.
It's slightly ironic that, his Notre Dame career and his Air Force career tracked with the beginning of the 20-plus year war on terror. Was there any connection for his signing up for ROTC at college 2001, shortly after 9/11?
I think from the very beginning, he always wanted to serve his country. Again, he always found it as an opportunity to get into the aviation community. And definitely, I think being an opportunity to support the war on terror was a influence, maybe not the absolute decision maker, but definitely influencing his decisions.
As he was studying at Notre Dame and preparing for his aviation career and his career in the Air Force, did he share with you any thoughts he had about service, the importance of service and commitment?
So we talked about it a lot, and it always comes back to the fact that when you look at the percent of Americans that serve their country, it's a very small percentage. It's about 1%, and he always talked about, hey, don't you want to be part of that 1% that serves their country, and brings a lot back to why we get to live the way we get to live today.
After graduating in 2005, he spent, I think, what, the next 8 years in the military. Of those 8 years, how many times was he deployed and where was he sent to?
So he was actually deployed quite a bit, probably five or more times, and sent to multiple different countries, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, and did a lot of other work in the Americas as well.
Did it's a long time from being away from home, being away from friends and family, quite a bit of sacrifice throughout those years.
For sure. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot is we're in that occupation where uh, very rarely do people actually raise their hand and say, yes, I volunteer to be away from family. So what happens is you start to rely a lot on the people around you to become that family for you. And I think you can see it all through Reid's life, Reid's military career, where, being the person he is and the very humble, approachable, um, credible person he is, that he's able to quickly make friends and build that family around him. And I kind of try to strive to do the same. And so everywhere we go, we try to build the family around us. So, you always have your blood family, but now you have a Notre Dame family and you have an Air Force family that kind of carries you through.
Ohana translates well through both, I gather.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Ohana is number one.
Okay. What his first plane was a C-130, big four-engine prop plane, huge, monstrous airplane. Did he enjoy flying that?
Oh, he loved the EC-130 and he loved the community. It was something he talked about all the time, just the unique experiences and the amazing people he'd meet. You have linguists on those planes. You have multiple pilots, and again, we just talk about how you meet individuals from different backgrounds, and they all influence how you grow up and what you really truly want to become and value.
How did he transition and why did he transition to a smaller prop plane, a surveillance plane, a low-level prop surveillance plane? What was his reasoning for that?
So as always, when it comes to active duty military, it's the needs of the Air Force. So at the time, the MC-12 was a new reconnaissance plane just coming on board, and the opportunity to fly that plane and again serve his country on in a deployment became one of those things pretty high on his list. So he was selected through the normal Air Force process, and he transitioned up to Beale Air Force Base to start learning about the MC-12.
That mission being the eyes in the skies and the kind of guardian angel for the troops on the ground, how did that fit into his general persona?
As always, he's the eldest, and so I think he's just always had this personality about him to be as helpful as possible. So that fell right into his niche of how he wants to support. So anytime he was at home, he loved the training, but he actually really loved deploying, mostly because he was able to help out the operations, help out the people on the ground, and truly be involved keeping people safe.
What really happened in April 2013 on his first mission in Afghanistan?
Yeah, so that was Reid's first mission in the MC-12. He was flying with a crew of four, so there's four of them total, Independence 08. They were supporting troops on the ground and found themselves supporting a troops in contact situation. During that
Which
time,
means they're in combat, they're under fire. It's a very serious situation.
yes, sir, very much so. And so it was very important for them to maintain situational awareness on what was going on the ground. And unfortunately, during that time, they found themselves in weather. So because of clouds, they were unable to see the ground. In an effort to find clearer air, they started to maneuver the aircraft and found themselves within the cloud and unable to see the horizon. And from that situation, they ended up exiting controlled flight and unfortunately crashed.
Trying to navigate 10,000-foot mountains of the Hindu Kush in bad weather, it's not a good story.
Definitely not. So anybody familiar with aviation know that the higher you go in elevation, the thinner the air gets, and once you hit thin air, it's very hard to maintain flight.
Was it difficult recovering the remains given the terrain?
It was. They did not recover them immediately. Number one, because they were still in troops in contact, situation. But they did try to recover them as soon as possible and reported back that they successfully recovered 4 heroes.
How were you informed of the death of your brother?
So I found out about Reid's passing from my mom. I was currently attending the U.S. Air Force Weapons School, and I can remember that morning very clearly. It was a weekend, and I was working on a paper for my class, and my mom had given me a call over the phone and shared the terrible news with me. At first, completely in disbelief, um, not not quite understanding what she was trying to tell me. So she probably had to tell me it several times. And then from that point, I remember kind of hanging up the phone, and I couldn't think of anything else to do other than go for a really long run and try to understand what information I was just given.
What were your thoughts about your brother as you're escorting his body back to Hawaii?
Number one, I really appreciated how well the Air Force took care of us, not just me, but my whole family. So we talk about Ohana, right? And we talk about having your Air Force family. They really took care of my mom, my dad, and myself really well. When they flew Reid and I back to Hawaii, they had a dedicated C-17 just for him and myself. And if you've ever seen a C-17, it's huge. And so, they dedicated that asset to just helping him get back home. And on the flight home, I got to sit next to him, and really, he and I just had a conversation, and I just wanted to thank him mostly about everything he brought to this world, everything he's taught me in my life, and I just really hope that he was always going to be there when times got tough.
How obvious was the impact your brother had on the Hawaiian community when he finally came home?
When we arrived home, uh, it was the sun was about to go down, but to my amazement, there was thousands of people lining the streets, just there to welcome him home, and it was very eye-opening on how tight the Air Force and the Hawaiian community, or the Hawaii community, is with um, welcoming one of their own home.
Ohana means family, and you don't have to be related to be a part of your Ohana. It's in the heart. Nobody gets left behind.
Notre Dame honored Reid and his family during a 2019 ceremony at Notre Dame Stadium. Two members of his Notre Dame family and the Hawaii Club of Notre Dame, Dr. Malia Shimokawa and Kahele Naeole, honor Reid each Memorial Day at his gravesite at the Punch Bowl National Cemetery in Honolulu. Malia and Kahele, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and reflections on your classmate Reid. Kahele, when did you first meet Reid?
Well, first of all, Mike, thank you so much for having us here and giving us the opportunity to share our memories of Reid. I first met Reid the summer of 2000, the year we graduated from high school. The ND Club of Hawaii had a bunch of events during the summer to kind of help ease the transition for entering freshmen, barbecues, mixers, service projects, etc. So I met Reid at these events, and we got to know each other pretty well, even prior to arriving in South Bend.
Now, Malia, you were kind of an upperclassman. You only overlapped with him for about 2 years at Notre Dame. Uh, how did you come in contact with him originally?
So even the upperclassmen, we would go to these events to welcome and meet the new freshmen. The Hawaii Club is really strong, and it's a really important connection for us because we're going so far away. I mean, a lot of us never spent that much time on the mainland, and we have to take care of each other. So the Notre Dame Club of Hawaii, we get to know each other ahead of time, and then when they get to campus, we do our best to welcome them. Like the upperclassmen try to take the freshmen out to Michigan City to the outlets to buy winter clothes because other things that we don't own, and just kind of do whatever we can to help the incoming freshmen transition to the new school. So just as people did for me, my hope was that we did that for Reid and Kahele too. So that's when I met Reid.
Did Reid fully participate in all the social activities the Hawaiian Club was famous for?
He did, except I will say that, he was in Air Force ROTC from the start, and he was really dedicated to that. And it was very time consuming, and we understood that. So he was not maybe as available for a lot of the things that we would do, but he did his very best. I mean, the Hawaii Club had we would sponsor like a table for hamburgers and all the food before a football game to raise money for our club. And if he could, he would come out and work it with us. And then the Hawaii Club Luau was a really, really big event in April. And despite his like major time commitment with Air Force ROTC, he would come out on Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings to rehearse hula with us, do the food prep, and be there to perform. So he was really in on the major events.
And Kahele, was he a full participant in the activities of the club?
He was. As Malia graduated and I became co-president of the Hawaii Club, Reid did stay on as the food commissioner, and he took that role pretty seriously. Uh,
The food commissioner.
we people from Hawaii, we love our food. So, uh, as food commissioner, he was responsible for kind of cooking during some of our gatherings, kind of heading the cooking of food for the luau, as Malia mentioned. So he took that role very seriously, and he, as Malia mentioned, absolutely did his best to serve that role while also handling his other commitments.
For those who never got a chance to meet him, how would you best describe Reid? Malia?
He was just a really joyful person. He was always smiling, always smiling. He made the best of every situation, and his positive attitude was really, really inspiring to all of us, even in hard times, in the dead of winter, in the roughness of like finals week, or just when we were really working hard to get the last details of luau ready. He was just always energetic. He kept us all going. He accepted everybody. I mean, he had to meet a lot of different types of people in Notre Dame. We're from Hawaii; it's a different culture. He was in Air Force ROTC, and then he was dealing with all sorts of characters from the Hawaii Club. And he was just wonderful to everybody, and everybody loved him. Everybody loved him.
Kelly, Kahele, how did you hear about his tragic death?
It caught me completely by surprise. I was hiking that morning. I remember it very vividly. I was hiking that morning as I usually did on the weekends, and all of a sudden I got a lot of messages from fellow classmates out of the blue, asking me if I'd heard the news. And by that time, it had hit the local news that a local boy from Hawaii was killed in action in service of our country. So it, you know, you hope this never happens, especially to the ones that you love and the ones that were closest to you. But we all understood that Reid made the ultimate sacrifice in service of his country, and we're very proud of him for that.
Malia, how did you learn about his death?
Same way. I mean, the Hawaii Club is a very strong community, and even after we leave Notre Dame, we all stay in touch. And pretty much the same way is that word spread quickly, and we rallied as best as we could. His service, memorial service, was at Central Union Church following that, and as many of us that could make it were there to see his family.
The Hawaiian tradition of Ohana family is very, very strong. How does it translate to the Notre Dame community? In this case, with your friend Reid.
Well, I think our connections are really strong from the beginning. I mean, as Kahele and I spoke about, the welcome events before you even get to Notre Dame are to really build that connection early. And then throughout our years there together, we take care of each other.
How has his death changed how you celebrate or honor, I should say, Memorial Day? Is there anything that you guys do that's kind of special because of this special connection you have with this particular sacrifice? Kelly?
Sure. I'd have to go ahead and credit Malia. That following Reed's passing, she took the initiative of gathering us alums each year around Memorial Day at Reed's grave at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, just to honor him and to catch up with each other. And I believe we've gathered every year since, even during the pandemic. So I'm very thankful to Malia for that. On top of that, both of our children are now Cub Scouts, and the Scouts participate in an annual tradition at Punch Bowl, where they visit each grave and they decorate it with an American flag, a lei, and a salute. And now that our children are Cub Scouts, I'm proud that they're able to also honor Reed and participate in this tradition at the same time.
How important is Reed's memorial to you and your family?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as what Kahele was saying. I think that it's important that our children remember the sacrifices of others and that, our country was built on the sacrifices of those who are willing to serve. His death was a tragedy and he was lost way too young. I mean, he had so much more to give. And we hope that by bringing our children to Punch Bowl every year, to connect with our old friends and to talk about Reid will help them to really understand this. And they do. They call him Uncle Reid, even though they never met him. And our kids, with Kahele's children and our friend Josh, we all get together in May and just are grateful to Reid for continuing to keep our connection strong with each other.
How can some of his other classmates participate in this ongoing memorial to Reid?
So I mean, they're always welcome to join us. The invitation's open. It's a free Sunday in May, and they can come and talk story with us. We also try our best to participate in the Nishizuka's families Run for Reid. So they run it as a virtual run. I think it had started around the time of the pandemic, which made it more virtual, which allows people to participate from all over the world. And so I think it usually runs around the time of his passing in April. And it's a really great event that you can run anywhere that you are. And it's a 5K.
Malia, you're an Army veteran. Do you really think that Reid's example personifies God, country, Notre Dame?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He volunteered to serve before September 11th. And he dedicated himself to learning at Notre Dame, being his best self, and also being an Air Force ROTC, which, means that you're dedicating years of your life afterwards to service. And that service turned quite serious, with the war. And he didn't flinch. And he was brave, courageous, kind, generous, as always. And we'll miss him.
How does your family honor Memorial Day, given the great personal sacrifice you've all had?
Yeah, so for Memorial Day specifically, it's a big community remembrance, not just for Reid himself, but again for the entire crew of Independence 08. So we use Memorial Day to really reflect on the sacrifice of all of our fallen heroes and how they've helped us, maintain the freedom that we have today.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Nishizuka, for your service, your family's service, and most importantly, sacrifice for the loss of your brother Reid. On behalf of the entire Notre Dame family, We share your loss.
Thank you very much, Mike. Really appreciate it.
I'm correspondent and former Marine Captain Mike Cerre, class of '69, for this edition of God, Country, Notre Dame.